Now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup this morning, along with one great guy, Captain Brian Kiyohara of the American Angler. Now, it was supposed to be Cameron, but Cameron has to run the boat. So
got yellowtail to catch.
Go catch some yellowtail on the Mission Bell. But he'll be here at the end of July. But what a great replacement to have Captain Brian Kiyohara just fresh off the American Angler. So you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
It's employee pricing, and it's happening now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. That's right, employee pricing across a full lineup for trucks and SUVs. A lineup featuring California's #1 truck brand and Ford F-Series, America's all-time best-selling SUV and Ford Explorer, the iconic Ford Bronco, and more. No automaker employs more hourly workers or assembles more vehicles here in America than Ford Motor Company. And that's a commitment your San Diego County Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing to you. It's only for a limited time. Exclusions apply. Hurry to your local San Diego County Ford dealer today.
Hey, it's time for the 30-second Power Pro seminar. Here's the hot tip for those of us that like to fish with small reels for big fish. Fill your spools with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro. That means you're going to get more line on that small reel. Plus, you can fly line your bait more effectively. Here's another tip about Power Pro Max Quattro. Your casting distance will increase in addition to increasing your spool capacity. So downsize your tackle and use Power Pro Max Quattro. Check powerpro.com for more information.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. What a fun day. Today is going to be so great having Brian here in the studio and talking fun and fishing and, man, fish are biting, summertime, 4th of July. It's on, man. What a great day.
Yeah. Thank you for stepping in.
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
He's actually, when I contacted him, said, hey, Cameron had to run the boat. You have time to come on the show? And you were on the boat.
I was on the boat. Yeah, I got home.
A call from Lori. He said, he'll be there.
Brian's everybody's emergency contact. Whether it's for us to fill in for Let's Talk Hookup or somebody needs an emergency driving their boat or whatever, Brian's like in case of emergency, call Brian Kiyohara on everybody's cell phone.
Covers us.
I live a mile away. Why not?
Love it, buddy.
That's so cool. So how was your trip?
I just got back from a 2-day trip. We just got back the other day. It was fantastic fishing. Awesome. You know, it was the first day we were 31 miles, and we ended up leaving them the last day at 41 miles.
40.
Crazy.
Yeah, daytime fishing. We had 30 fish during the daytime. It was
sweet.
Fun.
That's probably been like the biggest thing that has happened this week. You know, last weekend on Let's Talk Hookup, we just started to talk about it, and there was some great fishing to be had, but it was all at nighttime and all on jigs, and all of a sudden it's back to the good old days of going to the bait tank and pinning on a sardine and casting it out and catching a tuna fish.
Oh, it was good fun.
That's so cool, right?
The sleep schedule is not that fun. Because before, it gets light, and then I'm lay down for a few hours, that kind of gig. But now it gets like
I didn't
yesterday,
think about that.
Ray had a good stop right at Gray Light. He had 4 or 5 going for like, a couple 3-4 hours, and it's just like, when are you gonna sleep?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So what's next for you?
I leave tomorrow on a 5-day.
On a 5-day.
Yeah, Matt's Alice's trip, and
So what do you do on a 5-day?
That's the major question. Everyone keeps asking, like, well, 5-day, that's kind of an oddball trip now. And it is. You have to be real creative. But at the end of the trip, all the guys sign back up for next year's 5 days. What are you going to do? Oh, no, we don't,
Yeah.
So every year it's a 5-day trip, and we'll figure something out. It's all this time of year for us on the American Angler. It's all pretty much 100% regular. So
Yeah,
that's so
it
fun.
works out. It used to be all about fish catching, Pacific Queen, the fish count every day. But I would say now it's one of the least important parts of what we do. It's like these guys have been fishing so long with each other. They come out and just to have a good time, and they play cards and
cool.
hang out. The TV never goes on, and it's a good time.
It's one of my favorite parts about getting to work down here is you see exactly the trip that Brian's talking about, and you get to see it play out. And these are guys that sometimes are like the very best of friends, but the only time they get to hang out is on this one trip a year. And I've been fishing with this guy for 22 years, but we only get to spend 5 days a year together, and it's on the Angler. And like those are what make it so cool.
And as we get older, how fast does 360 days go by?
How true is that?
Quickly.
Very quickly. So, I mean, is it possible to get to the ridge on a 5-day, or it's just
no? Yeah, I mean, Ray did it last year, where that fish was above the ridge, his bomb. It's kind of like, this isn't real radio friendly, but they call it bomb it or vomit, type deal, because it's a pressure cooker. Yeah. 2 days traveling down, 1 day of fishing, 2 days traveling back. It's really a pressure cooker. Yeah. So.
I mean, so on a 5-day, could you possibly go fish bluefin and then go up to the Channel Islands and fish white sea bass or something?
Yeah, I was kind of entertaining that, but it looks like we're going to have a lot of weather up there at the outer islands up there. And, you kind of start sniffing around because, throughout the years, you get to know pretty much every operator in the fleet, every boat owner in the fleet. Sure. And it's like, when I started calling up there, like, hey, how's it going? It's like, it's like, the guys on the Mirage and the Endeavor and stuff, they that's their backyard, and the last person they want to see is this kid rolling in there on the American Angler to one of their places. And I get it. I totally respect all sides of it. Sure. And it's their turf, and I've never even driven a boat up there, so it's like I saw that weather up there so it was kind of a relief that that's pretty much off the table.
But how many times have you gone down the beach and fished coastal yellowtail and a lifetime of every spot from here to Cabo? Sure. And that's sometimes some of the funnest things too is the outside the box. And I'll see pictures of the American Angler, and sometimes you see the biggest smiles are guys coaching reds and lingcods or yellowtail on the beach somewhere. And
absolutely cool. And this time of year, it's coming up pretty soon, where every July, as long as I could remember, there's like this 3-week yellowtail thing on kelps. And it's the years that we don't catch them out front here, I guarantee those yellows are on kelp somewhere, because we've had it before. We're on the Ranger Bank above Cedros getting them, or somebody on the way out to Guadalupe stumbles on an area of kelps that are loaded with these good grade yellows. And it's
some big ones too.
It's an annual phenomenon that happens, and it's about this time, July, it happens, and it goes for about 3 weeks, a month.
I mean, could the moon have something to do with it? We have a full moon this week.
Maybe.
They spawn, the yellowtail, you see them, they spawn, then they finally start to bite.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Could happen.
Hopefully, because I'm going to be out during the moon.
Yeah.
So hopefully it does happen.
Yeah. So this year, there's so much volume of bluefin around. Does that play, the moon play into it when there's so much volume around?
It's the whole moon thing. There's a lot of our guys that fish all the time, and it's the moon, no moon, darker the moon after it. It's like having to do this year round all month. It's like there are things that are affected by the moon, but it's like because we got to go out anyways. It's not something that's it's not something that we stand by. People could say that, oh yeah, it's dark of the moon, full moon, this and that, but it's like we've all seen fishing as good as it gets and as bad as it gets throughout all moon phases.
Sure.
And when it's tough fishing, it's, you look up in the sky, oh, that's why.
Yeah, sure.
But there's so many other variables that's involved in the ocean, feed, water conditions, that whole thing. It's just, the longer I've done this, the less I figured out, the less I know.
So you're also a commercial lobster and crab guy. Does the moon affect that crawl at all?
Yeah, and a lot of the old time lobster guys say, "Oh yeah, it's the moon. They're not moving." The fish are active at night, this and that, and then you go out and you look and you're fishing greenish brown water where it's not affected at all on the bottom. But once again, it's conditions. You get flat, calm weather, and it's full moon, but you're in there. You're able to go into 4 or 5 feet of water on your skiff. And you're pulling up good traps. It's like it's during the moon.
Yeah.
So it's all, there's so many different variables involved with fishing.
Yeah, so much good stuff. But the good news is we have a lot of volume of bluefin around, right?
It seems like there's bluefin in a lot of places. The guys up at Clemente saw some the other day on west of Clemente still, and we were fishing 30, 40 miles, down toward below the 371. And you would think, oh boy, the skiffs, this and that. We didn't have very many skiffs. We didn't have the 3 outboard 4-pack guys. We never even saw them because there's fish on the backside of the 9. There was fish west of the 43. And so, there's like different pockets of fish. And it was more foamer fishing up that way for the guys, dropping a kite bait in it type gig. So we never saw these skiffs.
And most of what the volume of what you're doing down there is probably night fishing too, right?
Yeah, we did have
some daytime
some good nighttime fishing, but during the daytime there were some hits.
That's great, man.
Those young kids on that Pacific Voyager, they had one that was biting in the scuppers for an hour.
That's awesome.
Eating 50, 60 pound line, on the corner kind of gig the other day. And, we had steady plunking, and, the XL had some good stops when I was out there, and it's exciting to see some yellowfin showing up in the mix.
There is, huh?
Yeah. And they're those
nice ones, right?
Those nice grade ones, the ones that we were seeing, I don't know if it's the same fish, but we saw that fish below, Bonitas and Cedros above the ridge, and that same grade fish is on the ridge right now, these 50, 60 pounders, and it's like
nice.
I saw some fish that came off the new Loan. These yellowfins were starting to, sickles were starting to grow out. They were big ones,
legitimate ones.
It was really cool to see.
And oh my Lord, are they delicious?
That's so cool.
They are.
I don't know if we've been spoiled eating so much bluefin, but that yellowfin, it's yellowfin, like it's
the one.
It's good stuff.
Phenomenal. Eating all that anchovy, it's just
fatty.
Yeah, it's delicious.
We had our Let's Talk Hookup 2-day trip on the Searcher this week, and Larry Grind hosted the trip on it, and they killed it. They drove away from bluefin.
Oh,
that was
awesome.
so
great.
Yeah, they had a really nice load that came in on Wednesday morning. So glad all those people on the Searcher did well. And it's just you're seeing that every day. You see it every day walking out the front of the tackle store. There's just fish all over the place.
That's just what I was referring to. It's summer for sure happened, and now kind of firing on all cylinders. Brian said it best, like all of the options in bluefin came together, and there's daytime sardine fishing, and there's good kite fishing for catching a trophy, and still really good nighttime fishing. It's been really fun. And the excitement that happens at the landings down here in San Diego when this type of fishing is on, it's the best part. It's my favorite part of the gig. Like, everybody's fired up, everybody that's coming in and searching for their parking lot, and they get there and they're excited. And then every cart that's coming off of the boat's got fish, and the guys coming back off of the trips can't tell the guy, oh my God, we caught him on the tungsten jig, or this, the West Coast Jiggers 300 was the one you had to have. And it just creates that buzz and excitement that is just not replicated anywhere else. It was really happening this week down at the landing. It was a really, really fun time. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And Brian was referring to the skiffs, the smaller boats. They're getting them as close as the 9 Mile bank, right?
And again, always the guys that have the ability to find them saw tremendous fishing on lure casting, fun fish foamers, and fish up, visually showing themselves and cast lures into them. But that takes some doing for sure, of getting the boat on the right thing and not putting the fish down, and having guys that can cast and then try to land a fish that might be 100 pounds on a long rod. I mean, it's certainly not the easiest thing to do, but there was just as good a scores of guys trolling spreader bars and Mad Max and, driving around waiting for the clicker to go off. And next thing you know, there's an 80-pound tuna on the end of the line. It was just an awesome week of fishing.
Yeah. So I have a friend that's going out this week, and he says, do I need to go buy a bunch of tungsten jigs? Brian, your thought on that?
They work for sure. Yeah. But it seems like it's, like we had to stop this last trip where it's like he could have thrown anything out, and it sinks down there 100 feet, and it's just like your line goes slack. It's like
that's so cool.
Just pretty much whatever.
Eddie bomb.
Yeah.
My friend Larry was saying the Eddie bomb was killing it with the Eddie bomb. So yeah,
whatever you're most confident in.
So you don't necessarily need to, of course, according to Rick, you need to spend that $130 to get a tungsten jig.
I have such a hard time with those. There's no doubt they're very effective and they work very good, and we hear about it a lot, but like I have this, they're tremendously expensive, and I feel like I have this duty to almost talk people out of it sometimes, because that's not the right lure for everybody. If you're coming once a year, by the time you're done putting hooks in a leader, those things are approaching $150. It's $100 for a 300-gram tungsten. You put a piece of fluorocarbon and some good hooks on there. I mean, it's getting up there, and I feel the same way. Like I love those SK jigs. They're $29, and you don't need to do a thing to them. The hooks are good and everything. But on the flip side of that, everybody that's coming off the boat, the story seems to be the same thing. Man, there was 3 guys that had those jigs, and they were bit the whole damn time. I don't care that it costs that much. I'll take one. So it's tough. Like I feel like this obligation to tell a guy, like, you definitely don't need that, but it is. But it's pretty damn good too. It's hard. You just gotta tell everybody exactly what it is. Assure them that that's not a thing that you have to have. But if you got money burning a hole in your pocket, it's probably not a horrible thing to add to your
and you're
collection.
probably not going to lose it with the heavy leader.
Hopefully not, boy. But I mean, there's a lot of tangles that happen.
It's that's a funny thing. The kids on the Intrepid were telling me, man, it's really good. It's easy to get people to wind up. Say you got fish hooked in the upwind corner, and you have 2-3 going, and some guy drops on the downwind corner. Now it's like, sir, if you want to lose your $100 jig, you keep doing it. But if you don't want to lose your $100 jig, you might want to wind up and go up to the bow, and the guy's just like speed winding like a wall. Yeah,
that's kind of a good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's kind of works out that they're using it. But the same 3 guys that were getting them on the tungsten jigs,
no doubt,
they're the guys that know how to cast, and they're it's fishing.
Yeah,
and I see it.
Totally.
Every night, it's like the guys that are able to cast downwind and be straight up and down. They're the ones getting bites. And the guy on the upwind side, that's just dropping their lure down and it's all scoped out. They got to be biting really good for those guys to get a bite.
So how do you cast a big jig like that properly?
Look behind you and do it very carefully.
Over your overhand?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
With the big reel?
Yeah. So
you got to know what you're doing, though.
Yeah.
You don't want to be just one. Hey, I'll try this, right?
Yeah. A lot of times, it's up. My crew or myself will just let me see your rod, and we'll cast it downwind for them.
And how far of a cast?
It depends. If it's windy, as far as you can.
As far as you can.
Yeah. If the boat's drifting, over a knot, it's.
And the idea is when it gets to the depth, you're straight up and down. And that's the key.
Yeah, it's the key. Because when you're scoped out, it's
not good.
You're not really in the game.
Don't get a bite.
The interesting thing, it's like we were fishing reds a couple years ago at Clemente, and we were in 50 fathoms, and we had the guys with the mark line and this and that, and we weren't drifting very fast at all. And I saw him hit the bottom. I go, how much line do you have out? And he goes, about 400 feet.
Really?
and I look over at the fathom meter. We're in 300 feet. So just
on what you would say is good condition.
Yeah,
too. It wasn't
and
real
almost straight up and down. But just the angle of the line,
wow.
a little bit of slack, this
Sure.
and that. It's like
you don't realize how much extra it takes to get there.
Sure,
that's interesting.
Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you today. We have a lot of tips from Captain Brian Kiyohara. Fun.
Going to be a great time with one of the most favorite people in the sport fishing fleet, and we're looking forward to talking to you. If you want to join us this morning on the fan, on the phones, give us a call at 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973 is how you reach us on the phones, or send us a text. Lots of great texts are already coming through this morning, and we'd love to read yours as well. If you want to send a text to Let's Talk Hookup, the only way to do it is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. It's a very easy system to send in your text. It's also the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. Anywhere you're at, you can hear the show in the Let's Talk Hookup app. You can also check all the archives. If you missed a great tip by Brian, or you wanted to catch some of last week's show, very easy to do through the Let's Talk Hookup app. You can listen 24/7 on demand. And again, it's the only way to send in your text message questions. When you do, make sure you include your contact info along with your text. Just a name and a phone number is all we need along with your question, in case you're the lucky winner at the end of the show today and win that great prize. And man, speaking of great prize, what a fun one it is today. One lucky caller or texter, as decided by the coin flip at the end of the show. We'll have Brian flip a coin, and that'll decide whether the winner comes from the caller or the texter side, is going to win a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses. This time we're giving away the Fantail Pro with a tortoise frame and a green mirror 580 glass lens. An awesome pair of Costas to one lucky caller or texter. Really excited to get to give those away today. And hopefully it's yours. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. Tons of great info with Captain Brian. We got catch reports, great information. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
Have you been looking for a live bait hook that keeps live bait alive? Look no further than Japan's leading fish hook, Gamakatsu. It's the little things that make the difference, and Gamakatsu hooks drive the point home. With an absolute perfect bend and ideal barbs, your bait swims harder and longer. And when you get bit, Gamakatsu hooks bite back with a vengeance. All hooks are not the same. Go with Gamakatsu for infinite success. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Check gamakatsu.com.
Hi, this is Captain Ray Lopez, owner-operator of the American Angler. I've spent more than half my life aboard the American Angler along with my partners Brian and Lori, developing a team that's as good as it gets. I've been fortunate to spend time in the ocean with so many fine people that I look forward to fishing with. We can't thank you enough for being part of the American Angler family, and if you haven't joined us, we love the opportunity to meet you. Text or call Lori at 619-223-5414 or check AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com.
Power your boat with Norsk Lithium, the ultimate choice for marine adventures. Our batteries deliver unmatched starting, trolling, and electronics power, packed with cutting-edge technology like Deep Sleep to eliminate phantom draw. Built with rugged BCI-compliant cases, they're designed to handle the toughest conditions on the water. Stay in control with the Norsk Guardian app. Monitor performance, track battery health, and unlock advanced features right from your phone. Charge with confidence using Evotech onboard and DC-to-DC chargers for fast, efficient, and hassle-free power management. Designed for maximum compatibility, these chargers keep your entire system running at peak performance, so you're always ready for the next trip. With a 10-plus 2-year non-prorated warranty, you can trust your batteries to perform for years to come. Our industry-leading warranty ensures you get the most out of your investment, with dedicated customer support if you ever need it. Upgrade your marine power today. Set up your custom system at NorskLithium.com or visit Trolling Motor Doctor in Lakewood. Norsk Lithium. No matter where the adventure takes you, we've got you powered.
Anyone that's been to the East Cape knows Smokey's Curing Company Cantina, the best food and drink in Los Barriles, and a fun place to hang out and watch your favorite sporting event. If you're lucky, you probably had Smokey's process your fish to take home. Their quality and service is top-notch. You'll see me at Smokey's Cantina hanging out with the owner, Chris, and my buddies when fishing in the East Cape. And we always send our fish to be processed at Smokey's, too. Now Chris has added one of the finest boats in the East Cape available for you to charter for a day or more of fishing. Vaquera. It's an immaculate 35 Cabo with a Seakeeper keeper, and Captain Diego Romero, one of Baja's best. If you're looking for a great charter boat when fishing at Palmas, Playa, or other resorts, Vaquera, booked at BajaSmokies.com, should be your choice. So when you're headed to the East Cape, be sure to stop by Smokey's Curing Company Cantina. Send your fish to be processed there and fish aboard the 35 Cabo Vaquera. Check BajaSmokies.com for more details.
They're casting.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. So much fun having Brian in here. What a cool thing, Brian, for you to step in and slide in for Captain Cameron. And we're wishing Cameron great luck today. Hope he has an awesome day.
I think he's going to go get some bluefin.
I think so, too.
Yeah,
no doubt.
for sure. Hey, we just heard a spot for Norsk Lithium, one of our great sponsors. And I have to tell a story. I have a small lithium battery on my drift boat up in Montana, and I have a 9-inch meter for stillwater fishing, and like a Lowrance 9-inch meter. And I ran that all day for 4 days.
Wow.
And this, I'm not telling you, this battery can't weigh more than 2 pounds. It's like,
you're showing like the size of a brick, you know?
Yeah, like a small brick. And it hasn't even drawn 1 bar off of the,
no kidding.
Of the thing.
Wow,
it's
that's
pretty
incredible.
Amazing. 4 days.
Yeah, and there's not an alternator on a drift boat.
Yeah,
no,
you're not recharging that thing.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
there's not wires
I keep
attached
looking
to
at it,
it.
and I go, wait a minute, do I need recharge? No, it's got full
No
charge
kidding.
still.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
crazy, huh?
impressive. How powerful those North lithium batteries are. They're made, and they're so light, right? So
we still haven't pulled it off, but that's a change I want to do to our skiffs so bad.
Yep.
Is that's it. You know, I mean, like it's an investment in that system for sure, but like you do that right, those batteries they outlast your motor.
Yes.
I mean, you get more lifetime out of your set of lithiums than you do out of your outboard. It's crazy.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I really like it. That's a big thing. If it was just a matter of buying the batteries for us, we'd already be done. But it's just everything.
Right.
It's charging. Like we put a really nice charger and inverter system in our boat, but I don't know if that will work with the lithium. So I got it. Yeah, that's just. But that's my big project for.
You can go to norsklithium.com and check the system,
right?
And then also ask them for advice, and they'll give you all the advice and tell you exactly what you need for your boat, what chargers you need for your boat, whether your certain charger is compatible with it. So norsklithium.com.
I really like it. I've done a lot of research, and Norsk is really high-end batteries. I wasn't aware of them, other than they were just kind of friends of us and the show.
Yeah.
They're like a top tier. I'm geeked out about it. I really want to go down that road. But.
Yeah, so check it out, norsklithium.com, and repower, because I'm super impressed.
Yeah.
I want to mention, just received this new edition of Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Magazine, and see it on the camera there. Such a great, I mean, is it every month or every other month that they come out with?
Mm-hmm.
Pacific?
And
once a month. Bill and his crew just do such a great job.
Yeah.
And there's so many great feature articles in there, and just just the whole layout of the magazine is just super top quality.
It's exactly what it's called. It's Pacific Coast. Like, it's all articles on what we do, and it's always a really good mix of sport boat fishing and private boat fishing, and some travel and some technique and some story. It's the one.
And one in particular was great. It was an article that Bill wrote about fishing with his family.
That's cool.
Which is super cool. I mean, he's so into fishing with his kids and hunting with his kids and the outdoors and stuff.
Yeah,
so
he's a good dude.
Bill's a model guy for the sport fishing industry. There's no question about that. So check that out. Pacific Coast Sport Fishing. You can buy it at Fisherman's Landing Tackle, or you can just subscribe is the best way to do it. For sure. Yeah. Hey, Arnie's on the line. Good morning, Arnie.
Good morning, Pete, Ricky, and Brian. How you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Well, I got an announcement for San Diego Rod and Reel Club. We are going to have our annual Big Fish Tournament Saturday, 23rd. And the reason why I was calling in today, because I was hoping to have Cameron on, but maybe he's got a good excuse. He's out fishing. So
that's right.
That's all cool. So, we're doing something different. This is our 38th annual Big Fish Tournament for the club. Traditionally, we've been doing this on private boats. This year, we're changing it up. We're going to have the Mission Bell. We're going to have 30 spots on the Mission Bell, and tickets will be going for $275 per angler. and we're going to have a bunch of prizes to give away. We've got a flyer up right now on Instagram with a lot of information. And if you want, go look that up. If you want to sign up for the trip, there's a QR code to get info and sign up, or you can give me a call. My number's on the flyer, 619-987-8127. I think we're going to have a great time. The trip is August 23rd, man. It's going to be right in the middle of it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great time to go.
Pretty awesome. All right. So once again, Arnie, how do you sign up for it?
You got to sign up for it with a QR code on our Instagram post on San Diego Rod and Reel Club, or on Facebook, or give me a call.
What's your number?
619-987-8127. And this is our biggest fundraiser that we have for the year. And what we use these funds is to take kids fishing, like we did on the Daily Double at the beginning of this month.
That's awesome, Arnie. Well, great job. Certainly a fun tournament and a lot of history. I mean, amazing that it's been going on for that many years, and glad to see the tradition going with a cool twist, fishing with Captain Cameron, and hope you guys have an awesome event this year, Arnie.
Thanks a lot for the call this morning.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. All right. Very good.
You got
Hey,
it, guys.
phones are packed. They want to
They
talk
are.
to Brian, so let's jump into it. Rick.
Sounds good, buddy. How about we start with Sean? He's calling us from Lomita this morning. Sean, thanks for getting us started here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Pete. It's 4th of July weekend. We're all up early. Imagine that, huh?
Hi, Sean.
Exactly. Anyway, hey, Brian, I love your storytelling. Go back to when you first started maybe working on the deck of one of the long-range boats and try to bring up a good story, because we love hearing all the stories of the past. As you were saying how fast time goes, I said to myself, well, the present is fast, but the memories last. So you give me a good story, please?
Well, we were talking to Bluefin
We were just
earlier,
during the break.
and in the early 90s, we had good bluefin tuna fishing, a couple hundred miles south of San Diego. And it coincided with the TLD 20s and 30s coming out, and it was kind of before the Spectra days. And so everyone would fill these reels to the brim with, 300 yards of 50 or 60 pound monofilament. And this is kind of, it is before we were targeting them at nighttime. So it was kind of a daytime fly line fishery. And it was one of those things, Pete, let me see your rod, let me cast you out kind of gig. And the line would kind of be soft. It wouldn't wound on tight. So it would be an instant backlash.
Somebody was soaking a sardine 100 yards out and time for new cast, and it didn't get stacked on tight and straight. It was just...
And so we had sinkers, torpedo sinkers in the hand well, and we just put them on the ring, on a 2-aught hook, throw it over the side,
So
let
the
it
sinker
speed
pulls a bunch
go
of line
down there,
off.
and then wind it on tight, take the sinker off, and fly line a bait. And we were getting bites. The sinker would come up with bite marks it, or it'd go slack, and these bluefin would be eating the sinker on the sink in the daytime. And then so that's the 6X Junior was kind of it still is, but it was what everyone had tied on their rods at the time. So we started casting those downwind off the bow, letting it sink straight up and down, 20, 30, 40 fathoms, depending upon the grade of the fish. And that's how we started catching them on these heavy lures. So it started, funny with the Eddie bomb and this and that. That's kind of how we started it on Royal Polaris.
Wow.
It was just a line straightening.
It was just a line straightening things, and we started getting bites on it. And
is that still something that you guys do when you're fishing big reels and fly lining?
There's always a sinker in the hand wells on the boat, because if you get underneath the boat and it gets caught on the sonar dome or something halfway up the side, we still use the sinker technique
and Eddie's one of the crew members on the Royal Polaris.
On Royal Polaris, yeah.
So Eddie bought, and so it was kind of his ingenious thing to put a hook on it.
Yeah, he's the first one that started hooks. But for years, like the sculpin fishing and stuff, as kids growing up, you'd get a 4-ounce sinker and put a treble hook on it and a strip of mackerel, and so for years that's how we used to catch sculpin.
Yeah,
but
works.
That's
cool. Try it. Yeah, and you guys have all kinds of iterations of the Eddie bomb at Fisherman's Landing Tackle, or other tackle stores, like the one that Bodan puts together. What's that called?
The Midnight Rider.
The Midnight Rider.
Rider.
I mean, you get to a level where we're fishermen, and everybody. I mean, and I'm the most guilty of it. So please don't take this as casting shade, because I'm the single most guilty of it. We all like stuff for us, and so we sell We sell regular brass, ringed torpedo sinkers where you need to put the hook, on the same ring that you tie your line to, so that if the brass ring pulls out of the sinker, you still got them. And then we sell fancy through wired stainless steel, torpedo sinkers. Then we sell the Midnight Rider, which is basically a sinker, but it's got some shape and some wiggle and some walk to it. And then super fancy painted versions of them and glow spots and everything in between. And they all certainly work. Yeah. And does one work better than another? Probably not. But you know what? It's a confidence thing, and it's a fun thing, and it's part of the fun. Where I get to work is part of the fun process too. Like going into the tackle shop and scoping out the gear and knowing like, oh, this is the one I'm going to catch my 200-pounder on him. That's part of the fun of the whole deal. Like,
sure.
But yeah, we got a bunch of different styles, and options, hooks,
and they all work.
And leaders, totally they do.
They all work.
It's fun.
Hey, Dan in Durango, Colorado.
I like that one. This is a great text.
Yeah, it's a good. Sorry.
No, I liked it.
Good morning, Pete, Rick, and Captain Brian. Great show as always. Hi, Brian. Want to thank you for an amazing 8-day trip, which we just returned from a couple weeks ago. I absolutely love the complete experience and the rest of your team provide the attention to detail and customer service, the owner operator on every trip. These spring 8-day trips are a hidden gem. The highlight for me on this trip were the killer whales, which showed up on the Yellowfin tuna drip, and the marlin hooked on a spinning reel. Looking forward to March 2026 8-day.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. We were on the Anchor on the 23, and it was very good yellowtail fishing, and it was grease calm. It was beautiful weather, and so we had 4 or 5 going. We were busy, and all of a sudden you hear whoa, and this pot of orcas, 6 of them got on us, and they started eating the yellowtail.
No way!
At deep color. They were like
right off your line.
You're seeing it happen.
Picking them off, yeah. Seeing them happen, and just what a show.
Oh, cool.
And the marlin thing, the water was changing quick down there. Like the water was 68 degrees and blue that day, so we were hooking a bunch of marlin, because we were getting the yellowtail on fly line. And so I have some shots on my phone where you could see the marlin tail walking and an orca in the same frame.
Wow! Would the orcas go after the marlin?
I imagine they would.
Yeah.
But at this certain scenario, they didn't. Yeah. And so last year we
yellowtail were easy pickings.
Oh, it's easier picking.
Yeah.
And so they were on us for about 10 minutes, and everyone got plenty of video and stuff,
cool.
and then they just moved on.
How cool! Those and like Dan's saying, those 8 days in the spring are hidden gems.
Oh,
right?
It's the best yellowtail fishing. That our springtime yellowtail fishing it's unmatched down there, whether it be at the rocks or the ridge, and it's one of those things. It's a lot of our old timers and even a lot of our new guys. The nighttime bluefin thing, it's fun and everything, but it's cold, it's choppy. You stay up all night. It's wet. Those springtime 8-day trips, it's all about fishing during the daytime. Cool. Travel at night, get a full night's sleep, wake up, different destination, fly line, yellowtail, snaking up the side, eating the surface plug.
Awesome.
Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And then, of course, what he was referring to is the amazing crew and operation that you have on the American Angler.
We're very fortunate. Myself, Lori, and Ray, we're very fortunate to have be surrounded with good kids, and everyone buying into the program, and just.
But it doesn't happen by accident, Brian. You guys are the leaders, and you guys make it happen.
And a lot of these young operators and stuff, it's still about how many. Hurry up and wind them in. We got to get another stop, and our thing is if the boat's broken, fix it. Everything that we're in control of, try and keep everything clean, bathrooms, this and that. Get to know everybody's name, have good crew morale, and just good teamwork and stuff. And it's amazing at the end of the trip when we're backing in, there's a bunch of dead fish on the back of the boat. It just, it just happens because that's what we love to do.
Your crew always seems like such a family unit. Like they all seem. I mean, you never know behind the scenes, and I'm sure everybody gets grumpy when they don't have sleep or whatever. But they all genuinely seem to really be buds with each other. Do you in your back pocket know who the next guy is going to be? You know what I mean? Like, obviously you have no need for it now, and your crew's solid, all those guys. But there's so many people from your boat have moved on to other careers or driving their own boats or whatever it might be. And like, do you already in the back of your mind know who the next man up is going to be?
Oh yeah. Yeah, always. And even future crew members, we always have kids coming down.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I want to work on the boat, but I'm committed on this boat this year.
Yeah.
Or
you've seen this kid.
We have a full crew. And so, it's that part of it I learned from when I first started working on boats. I had the good fortune of working on the Mustang, the New Hussar, those Japanese American charter boats. And so all of us, we were all friends. During the week, we'd all fish together, go bass fishing, whatever. And then obviously Royal Polaris, me, Timmy, Swaino, all of us, Rollo, we were all so tight off the boat that when we were on the boat, it was just like
another day.
It's just another day.
I love that. That's awesome. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more catch reports. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 97.3 The Fan.
This is Pete Gray to tell you about my fishing buddy, Dan Hume, and his amazing company, Hume Termite. As you know, Southern California is infested with termites. It's a constant battle for anyone who owns a home, and that's where Hume Termite come in. They're strictly termite experts. They start with a thorough inspection to find out why you have termites in the first place, then recommend sustainable treatment options that work. Hume Termite has been controlling my termites for years, and I have recommended them to numerous friends. Did you know 99% of termite companies are commission-based? Not Hume Termite. They're all salaried employees, and with a thorough inspection, they'll help you solve your termite problems, not sell you something you don't need. Let Dan and his crew earn your business through customer service and trust. It's swarming season, and now is the time to call Hume Termite at 760-598-2201. They'll come out and give you honest answers to solve your termite issues. Check HumeTermite.com.
The state-of-the-art long-range sport fishing vessel, the Independence, delivers the top quality, comfort, and fishability you look for in a long-range boat. Veteran captains Mark Pisano and Paul Strasser built this incredible 112-foot vessel with the most modern technology and luxurious comfort available. Once you go on the Independence, you'll be back. Call Independence Sports Fishing at 619-226-6006 or check independencesportfishing.com. The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing. Need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tensile strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
For local or long-range fishing, we have you covered. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. Being a part of the San Diego Sport Fishing Landing gives us a distinct advantage when it comes to getting you on the latest and hottest tackle for your trip. Our expert staff knows exactly what you need for your long-range or local trip, and we will not sell you something you don't need. We carry a huge inventory of the right tackle. So visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. Lots of great fishing happening. And boy, it's just, I love this time of year when all things are at play, all the ways to catch them. And Brian was already talking about that yellowfin leaking into our zone. Like that was the one thing that, man, and last season, absolutely fantastic. Couldn't have been better. But the one thing I was so hoping was going to happen was that incredible yellowfin fishing that was an everyday occurrence on the American Angler. If you could get down a couple hundred miles, I was really hoping
it could happen this year,
that
right?
would just slide its way into our local zone.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows? I know it's just a couple of fish so far, but what if that came in the mix with us and we had that great yellowfin with our bluefin, local fish? This is just, I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
I geek out on this stuff a lot, and it's feeling right now.
Ron Lane always says, it could happen. Speaking of Ron Lane, he'll be on the show tomorrow, 7 to 9, talking fun. So a fast lane kayak and lots of good fun fishing tomorrow. So let's jump into the phones.
You got it, man. Well, the phones are packed up. And again, if you want to get your shot to get through, it's 833-288-0973. Mike from Torrance is joining us next year on Let's Talk Hookup. What's up, Mike?
Hey, good morning. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. What a great time to be alive. it's amazing how far the fish have moved in a week. We were out on the Vagabond last week, and they were just on the edge of the Tanner, and now the whole Inner Banks has flooded outside San Diego and Max. And the size of the fish has changed too. We were getting a lot of 100, 150 pounders last week, and now it looks like a little smaller grade, but the Yellowfin influx is going to be an incredible addition. I'm fortunate enough to be able to fish with the American Angler coming up next weekend, and got my fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to a good season. And Brian, thank you for all the leadership you've shown in the community and with the fishing innovations that you've been involved in. The whole RSW and the processing that we've come to know, that you and Tim and Frank probably got the whole thing started. I just want to encourage you and Tim to sit down and help Frank write his book.
Yeah,
time
Frank
is
was
down
talking
while
about.
he's still fresh.
Yeah, he was talking about that last week.
I just want to put in 2 cents that the Corbina fish was off the hooks yesterday. You guys have a great day and a great weekend,
as far
okay?
as the fish moving, it's
thanks, Mike.
At their most least active state, a tuna has to swim 1 body length per second in order to survive. They can't sit
Least
still
active.
like a goldfish or a bass and pull water through their gills. In order to oxygenate their body, they have to actually propel themselves and move the water over their gills. So their most least active state,
it's crazy.
It's 1 body length per second. And so, a 5 foot long, 150 pounder, they're doing some traveling.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, pretty amazing.
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's jump back in the phones.
You got it, man. How about this time we talked to John? He's calling us from Escondido this morning. John, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. I got one comment and then maybe 2 questions. And my comment is, Pete, you were talking about the Pacific Coast magazine,
right?
And I got mine. I love it. I even got the Tide, which is with CCA. They came at the same time. But
great magazine.
For anybody that doesn't know, when you go to the PCS show last year and the year before, but last year you took your ticket, you went back down to the Balboa Bay Club, and you gave it to them, and it gets you a free subscription.
Wow!
And so I went to the show 3 days, and so I got my brother-in-law's subscription, I got my subscription, I got and so that you can go to the show and get it for free. It's it's a fantastic magazine and everything. And then my question for Brian is, do you guys do a 10-day, like in October, something like that, where you guys go out and fish the bluefin first, and if you get them, you bring them back to the dock, and then you guys head south and go fish for another 8 days or something like that?
We have never done that before. I'm not going to say we aren't going to do that, but typically, whether it's a half-day trip or a 10-day trip, there's not enough time. So pretty much, for our 10-day clientele, we're heading point south. And there are times on the backside of the trip, if we have good fishing or if it's poor conditions down there, we will end up fishing bluefin on the way home. But pretty much for the most part, it's our clientele and stuff. They've got wahoo and warm water species on the brain, so we're traveling. We're heading
that's
south.
Where the better fishing is. At that time. But now, do you have any spots available on any fall trips? I know they're super popular. The 8 and 10 day.
I would definitely call Lori and get on.
Because you never know.
Get on a waiting list because
even if you go to AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com, you see it full.
You got to call Lori because we always have people with last minute things coming up. We're all busy in our lives and things happen. So definitely call Lori and get on a standby list.
There you go.
You always hear that miracle happen. We get to see it, same deal in the shop all the time. A guy comes in super fired. I just got the call. Somebody dropped off. I'm going next week. I need this. Boom, on the boat going.
Yeah.
It just, like Brian said, it happens all the time. Oh. And with that said, too, another good call to punch in. Things happen all the time. If you're going to go on a 10-day trip or you're already on it, call Dawson and get that trip insurance too. Just because you don't want to be the guy that's praying for this, you don't want to be the guy that puts the burden on the people with the boat. Like, it's such a cheap thing to make it just work out for everyone.
Right.
American Angler Sport Fishing You go to our website, it's on the very front page.
The Dawson Insurance link.
Click on it and just read it.
Yeah.
Like what you get for $280
Right.
or the $500 thing. And this is annual.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
For the year. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
$150,000
For sure.
in air flights to get you home if you're sick. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a no-brainer.
You have a good text.
I
huh,
thought
Rick?
so. Yeah, I really like this one. I'm pull it right back up here. This one was from Jim in Oceanside. Says, "Good morning, guys. Great to hear from a veteran captain. Brian, I know you spent a lot of time at the Coronado Islands and more time chasing yellowtail up and down the coast. I lost a big yellowtail to a sea lion this week on my skiff. I'm wondering if you have any tips for us on sea lion issues and how to get your yellowtail back on the deck. Thanks from
Just
Jim.
on that skiff, you just got to chase them, drive at them.
Be right over the top of them.
Drive at them, and hopefully it lets go, and
Get wine fast.
Yeah, wine fast.
I
the whole
put
gig.
donuts around them. Like they hold and they just run donuts around. They get kind of confused, right?
I see.
Run
Yeah,
fast donuts.
I'm sure
I've had
that's
them.
a good tip. I'll try
Sometimes
that.
it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? It's like
Yeah.
50-50.
We're the same. We like to drive over the top of them. And the other thing is like they're smart, and they, when they do let it go, they often don't let it go for long. So if you're spending that time and effort to try and get that thing back, your window of opportunity sometimes is very short. So like while you're stressing out and trying to get your fish, you got to be very ready
with the gaff
on what to do when it does happen. Yeah, have the bud ready with the gaff or swing the thing over or whatever it's going to be. Like a lot of times if and when they do let it go, they'll grab it again just as quick.
Yeah.
So if you do get your shot, be ready.
But if they let it go, what a victory.
Oh, it's the best. That is the very, very best. Especially one where you really mess with them for a long time and you get it back and they only had it by the head or they only had it by the tail.
Yeah.
And
or by the gut.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
we don't eat anyways.
Yeah, when you get pretty much the whole thing back, that's a win for the good guys, man.
Yeah.
Love
Let's
it.
jump back on the phone.
That sounds good to me. This time we're going to talk to Robert. He's calling us from Canyon Country this morning. What's up, Robert? Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys. Great show as always. I'm going out on the horizon this weekend.
All right.
I'm taking 3 of my grandsons with me and was wondering what we should be doing during the day. Sinker rig, fly line, what should we do? Hoping for daytime fish.
Our ticket was 40-pound test fly line, and the sinker rig was also working extremely well. Not too heavy a gear. The average fish here locally this week, it could very possibly change next week, was about a 50 or 60-pound fish. So sinker rig on lighter gear, like 50, 60-pound line, seemed to be working real well. And
is that like the brawler rig with the hook?
Yeah, we got several that
kind of a
way,
dropper
and we got several, on the standard rubber band thing.
Okay.
But we were getting some on that brawler rig as well.
Yeah. So either the rubber band or the brawler rig, which is like a
drop
shot
rig, yeah.
type of jig.
Yeah.
Rig.
Matter how you pin the baits on, or do you see one thing working better, another when it's sinker rig fishing?
With these fancy hooks, and they're so sharp, the old standard crossways through the nose, a lot of times they fall off.
Yeah.
And so I've been like sticking the barb inside the mouth and coming up through the roof of their mouth, through the hard spot of the nose, and it seems to stick a little bit better.
Okay, good tip.
I like doing that too, because the other thing with those hooks is they are so sharp. Sometimes when it's crossways through the nose and they're shaking their head, that hook point like comes back around, like sticks into their gill plate or something. When you're using an old school dull Mustad 94 150, like you can shake around and it just didn't do a whole lot. But some of those hooks are so sharp, they'll, it's a good thing, but it's not a good thing if it sticks back into the bait and you don't get a shot at it.
Hey, I have a great text here from Eric in Fallbrook. He says, "Morning, guys. Last time I fished with Brian was 35 years ago. Crazy how time flies. A goal of mine is to fish again with Brian before he or I retire from fishing. Maybe an 8, a 9, 10-day trip. Is there a way to see on the website the trips that he is running? I mean, the trips that you are running. I mean, of course,
yeah, there's not. It depends. Like,
you can call Lori though.
Yeah, two of my nieces are getting married. One just got married. One's awesome. Getting married in October. So obviously, family things seem to take precedence. But it's either Ray or I.
It's either driving, so that's the cool. Ray's an owner. You're an owner. Lori's an owner. You're always going to have an owner, and
so it's hard to dictate our schedules.
Yeah. But if he were to book, say, try and get on a trip this fall, would you know which trips you're running?
I'm running Ken's 10-day.
10-day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then probably the last trip in December.
Okay.
Because that's over lobster season, lobster time.
Yeah,
too,
it's
right?
lobster time.
Yeah, totally.
That's the problem with the fall, right? You run a lot more trips in the spring and summer, right?
Yeah, in October, I'm pretty much gone. The month of October, out of my skiff.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a busy schedule, and you have to prep for that too, right?
Yeah. So
do you prep for that now?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like when I leave, I have the pop up set up in the backyard, and so it's
how many traps you said?
300.
300, and you've got to maintain all those.
Maintain them all. I don't know how. It's several hundred hours of backyard time. You know, I've seen so many kids. You know, like how much is that barrel worth? You know, they think it's easy, but it's a lot of time.
It's hard, a lifetime of work to get that barrel. Hey, we had a great time on the fan. We got another hour coming for you on the Let's Talk Hookup app and Facebook and YouTube Live. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on that Let's Talk Hookup app and Facebook, YouTube Live.
"45 years. That's how long we've been right here on Mission Bay, helping friends and family like you discover the joy of sailing, kayaking, and everything life on the water has to offer. I'm Logan from Fastlane Kayaks, and if you ask Ron and Debbie Lane whether 45 years feels like a long time, they'll tell you time flies when you're having fun. You see, the Lanes have followed their passion for a life on the water, and they've made a living inviting others along for the ride. Over the years, the shop has grown and changed, and so have the employees and products inside. From selling catamarans in the 1970s as newlyweds, living in a VW bus in the store parking lot, to being the destination Hobie fishing kayak store they are today, working with their 2 sons and daughter. You might be looking for a new way to enjoy time on the water with your family, or maybe you're looking for a new way to stay active, enjoy nature, explore, and catch a spotted bay bass. Whatever your goals, come visit us in Dana Landing on Mission Bay, and we'll get you geared up and ready to enjoy life on the water.
Hey guys, this is Ali Husseini from Local Knowledge and BD Outdoors. I'm a lucky guy in so many ways, and one thing I'm really grateful for is my little brother, Yosef. Yosef is not only a fellow angler, but he's also an amazing realtor that specializes in helping us in the angling community find the ultimate home. If you own a home, get a free no-obligation evaluation online now by typing in SoCalHomeEval.com. That's SoCalHomeEval.com. All you do is put in your address, and you'll get a home value report immediately sent to your email. No pressure, no obligations, just answers. Yosef is the SoCal real estate go-to guy. He's helped me and so many of my fellow fishing buddies find what they're looking for in a home. He knows anglers and he understands the real estate market. Not only that, but he's also a really nice guy. How many brothers can you say that about? Go to SoCalHomeEval.com and find out where you stand in the real estate market, and then get with Yosef and find your ultimate home. Again, go to SoCalHomeEval.com and we'll see you on the water.
Looking for the ultimate Alaska fishing experience and the best value in Alaska? Look no further than Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. A trip to Kingfisher includes everything you need to make your experience legendary. The finest fishing fleet in Sitka with the best captains, deluxe accommodations, gourmet food, world-class fish processing, and the best part, it's all included for one amazing price. Kingfisher is Let's Talk Hookup's most popular destination. Hundreds of listeners have experienced Kingfisher Charters, and most go back again and again. You have probably heard a lot of big promises from other Alaska lodges, only to find there were lots of hidden charges. Not Kingfisher. Everything is included. 10-hour fishing days, your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, and fishing gear. All you bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. Kingfisher Charters, your Alaska fishing destination. 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
You know, whether you're going fishing, diving, or just having fun on the water, there's nothing more worth doing than messing around in boats. So let me ask you, are you ready to upgrade your ride? Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland is your exclusive Western U.S. dealer for Steiger Craft. Created for inshore and offshore waters and laid out with the serious fisherman in mind, Steiger Craft has built a solid reputation for performance and excellent rough water handling. If adventure on the water is what you live for, Now's the time to invest in your passion. Call Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland at 510-437-1444. To look at the whole fleet of Steiger Craft online, go to steigercraft.com. Now's the time for a rugged, reliable, and fast Steiger Craft from Boat and Motor Mart of Oakland.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, Facebook Live. Pete Gray here along with Rock Cod Rick Maxa in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to the San Diego landings in Point Loma. And we have a great guest, Captain Brian Kiyohara from the American Angler. Wow, Brian is just such a wealth of knowledge of so many things and having fun just hanging out with this guy.
No doubt, man. Great day. And we like to hang out with you. If you want to join us on Let's Talk Hookup this morning, we would love to have you. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube Live or enjoying the Let's Talk Hookup app, best way to do it is to send us a text. The text the show option, so popular here on Let's Talk Hookup, and it's only available through that Let's Talk Hookup app. As soon as you fire up the app, you'll see the text the show option. Just click on that button. When you do send in your questions for Brian, make sure you include your name and your phone number, because if you win the big prize at the end of the show, we want to make sure to get it to you. And again, that big prize, a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses. This one is the Fantail Pro. Really, really cool. Fantail was one of the most popular glasses we sold for a lot of years. It was reintroduced a year or so back with the Pro Series. And basically the Pro Series is that same style that was always so popular, but now they have an adjustable nose piece. They have like ventilation so they don't fog up. They got other things too, where like the earpieces are no longer affected if you wear, if you're in the heat of the summer and you got sunblock on, the sunblock doesn't affect any of the rubber adhesive. It's like everything that they loved upgraded again. And that's what we're giving away today.
Really like that Fantail.
Yeah. Fantail Pro, tortoise frame, green mirror glass. You're going to love these shades.
Yeah.
And good luck to everybody.
My
calling
favorite
and texting
shade
today.
of Costa's the green mirror.
Yep. It's a good one, man. No doubt.
For sure. Well, let's find out what's biting out there.
You got it. It's time for a catch report today, sponsored by Terrafin Sea Surface Temperature Charts. Man, focus your offshore fishing in the most productive areas by using Terrafin. They have sea surface temperature, they have chlorophyll, they have currents and more. And with Terrafin Mobile, you can access all of your water charts on your phone or your mobile device. You can check terrafin.com for more information. We got the man, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge, our private boater buddy. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ricky, Pete, Brian. Great show this morning. You guys are having just a fantastic time there.
For sure.
And I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Lots of fireworks around for everybody. Got, up here at my house last night, it was like a war zone all the way to midnight with all that stuff going on. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. But a bunch of fireworks offshore, too. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. We got some new developments. So up north, it slowed for a little bit, but a good rebite yesterday up there at the Northern Channel Islands there. I'm sad to say that 3 fish limit is really hard on those schools of spawn and sea bass. I mean, seeing all them fish laid out on the back of those boats, it's like, I don't know. Not for me, thank you. This past week, we also had some really nice weather on the outside. And guess what, guys? San Nicolas got checked out and did not disappoint. Very good angling on the sea bass and the halibut, both, along with all the regular stock supply of bottom critters. And speaking of the cods and such, the regulations just changed, guys. No more deep water fishing. You got to fish inside 50 fathoms here for the next 3 months, I think it is. Inside 50 fathoms only. And or at Catalina, very crowded on a holiday weekend, like you might expect. So it's pretty tough to fish, but all the stock summertime stuff along the kelp line there, it's been pretty good fishing, and a decent sprinkle of yellowtail just scattered just about all over, front and back. A little bit bigger fish on the back, smaller fish on the front, but there's no shortage of them. At San Clemente Island, major turnaround from a few weeks past. It kind of struggled to get rolling, but man, it's been good fishing on the bait grounds, both in Pyramid Cove proper and up the back at Lost Point and a couple other spots up there. Big yellows, big sea bass, both. We weighed a 43-pound yellow for one of our customers, caught on the backside spots there. But yeah, a lot of that good grade fish heavy tackle, man. There's just so much of them big ones around. It's just really nice to see that, and smaller fish on the front side of Clemente there. And then offshore, holy cow. Finally, some fantastic fishing in small boat range. You know, we've been struggling private boat wise to get to where that Bluefin's at, but they gave us a little break, made a big move, and lots of options now, all the way from just outside the 9, scattered spots out toward the 43, and then down from there, with that better fishing being around the 371 and a little bit below it. And you know, that nighttime jig fishing is still working. But the beauty of it now is they're starting to see some daytime fish. You can catch one trolling a spreader bar or a Mad Mac, or fishing poppers on the foamers, seeing some foamers, long drifts with a bait, actually catch one on a bait in the daytime. So there's a lot of options on that Bluefin. It's just kind of developing. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it sticks around. A little bit of yellowtail on the kelp, and the beauty also of the reports here this week, a couple yellowfins were caught. Man, those yellowfins, the pictures I saw, those are just beauties. So we hope that stuff fills in. That'll really be some fun stuff. And then along the coast, of course, there's a fantastic sand bass fishing here off of Huntington Beach. It's slowed down with the water temps that dropped a little bit, but they're bouncing back, and the fish kept biting even in the cold water. And along the kind of South Orange County coastline, starting to see some signal on the bigger sea bass, a little behind schedule actually this year. But one of Danny's friends, Alan, they had a 72-pounder on a mackerel the other day.
Wow.
And a couple other fish up around Salt Creek and scattered along there. So it looks like that coastal sea bass thing is getting rolling. So you got to say, guys, it's time to go
Time
fishing.
to go fishing. And of course, FishDope.com, they have all the stuff. $30 off a new membership to FishDope.com using the code Hookup Now, lowercase, no space, Hookup Now, your $30 code. And certainly if you want to keep track of what's going on, FishDope.com. Easy, no-brainer decision there to subscribe to that. And Mark, how do we find you?
Well, Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger by that big Chevron station. And the phone number is area code 714-840-4262. The website's PacificEdgeTackle.com. And, man, there's no telling what we're going to be talking about next week with the amount of changes we saw here this past week. I mean, this was just awesome watching all this fishing coming together and everybody getting out and having a good time. So We'll see. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Mark, thanks a lot for that. We'll talk to you next week. All right, filling in for Rosie because he literally just got off the plane from Cedros Sport Fishing. We have Wayne Cotto. Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning, Pete, Ricky, Captain Brian Kiyohara, you stud. How you guys doing?
Hi, Wayne.
Good, Wayne.
It was phenomenal. We talked about it last week when I was filling in on the show, but we got there and it did not disappoint. I'm telling you, Brian, you're going to love this. We had bait boiling from Cedros all the way to the Trinidad. There's bait everywhere. There's red crab in the mix. So, man, there's fish everywhere. And those super mean yellowtail, the calicos, the white sea bass, halibut, sheep's head, sand bass, black sea bass, sharks, whitefish, barracuda, bonita, Pacific, and Spanish mackerel all in the mix. You have every opportunity out there. Yes, it's unbelievable. Take the tackle store because you get to try everything out there to see what will bite it. All parts of the water column are biting. Inshore, offshore, boiler rocks, kelp. You can throw almost anything out there and try it right now. And if you want to, you can always use live bait because you can use sabikis and get the sardine, or you can even pull up some Max and troll them, and the halibut and the white sea bass are jumping on those. But like we talked about last week with the tackle, the Tranx 200, 300, and 400 with that 50 to 80 pound braid, the 40 to 60, Seaguar Gold or AFCO Psycho Pro, spot on. You can do everything with those combinations, and I'll tell you what, you guys got to get on a trip. Call Rosie, 619-772-7570. or email her at rosie@cedrosportfishing.com. You know, get on a trip because it is going on right now.
How cool, awesome. Wayne. Nice going, buddy.
Good job on the report, and glad you had so much fun at Cedros Sport Fishing. Wayne gets fired up even at the bait barge, I think, but he sounds really fired up on this trip.
That's cool,
for
buddy.
sure.
That's awesome.
Glad you had such a great.
So much fun. Hey,
go ahead.
Yeah, Tommy P. being the charter master for the Let's Talk Hookup trip. You know, hats off to him. We had a good trip. We all had fun.
All right. Did he behave himself?
Always. He's a barrel of laughs all week long.
All right. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate that report. And we'll talk to Rosie next week. Appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Hey, that's going to wrap up our report. Sponsored by Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It is the place to fill up your car, your truck, your trailer boat, and with the lowest prices on gas and diesel. Also, do you know that Summit is the place to get the lowest prices on ice and snacks for your trip? They've got over 40 snacks for just 89 cents. Now you can get their killer burritos and sandwiches for your trip, all made fresh daily. Their ice is nearly half the price of the competitors at only $3.99 for a 25-pound bag. Also, you get 100 pounds of ice for free with a 35-gallon fill. It's Summit Gasoline, free ice for Let's Talk Hookup listeners, and always the lowest prices on gas at the San Diego Sports Arena.
And a $6 car wash.
So
a
rad.
really good car
That's
wash,
awesome.
too. Yeah, they're the best. Summit Gasoline. Good people.
No
You have
doubt
a great
about it.
text.
I
huh?
thought so. I thought this was a fun one, and I was curious too. This is from Darren and Menifee. It says, "Hey, Pete, Rick, and Bri. Captain Brian, my question is, I know that it changes from year to year, probably month to month, and even during the week. What trolling lures have been the most effective so far this year for tuna, and or are tuna being caught on the troll at all? Thanks for all the info. Happy 4th of July to everybody."
Our kids like to troll those halcos.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we have been catching a few.
Okay.
It seems like those smaller grade ones, like those 30, 35 pounders.
But a cool bonus fish. As
Yeah.
you're
In the day.
Yeah, during the daytime.
Do
Bonus.
those, I mean, I know that was more of an albacore thing, but does a Bluefin jig strike ever equate to a bait fish stop
we've
and you get on
definitely
them?
seen it for sure. Yeah.
Cool. So it's still
definitely.
worthy of doing.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. I have another one here from DJ in San Diego. He says, always great to hear Brian on the show. I lost my heartbreaker on the last trip on a sinker rig fish that took off half the spool of line without slowing down, then broke off when I tightened the drag and got the line bound, dug into the spool. I'm hoping Brian can share his thoughts on drag management during the fight.
If it's a lever drag reel, the strike position is just solely a point of reference. As the fish is taking line, the spool diameter decreases, drag pressure increases. So you're actually backing off on your drag, you know, physically,
as your spool empties.
but you're not really backing off the drag. You're just maintaining that constant pressure. And so the whole lever drag thing, it's just the strike position solely a point of reference, because at the end, when you're straight up and down, quite often you got to be up in full. So it's either they take line or you're gaining line. It's not the seesaw back and forth.
So the key is to use a lever drag reel.
Or you could adjust your star drag reel, you know, just by backing it off. The fish is taking a ton of line. It's just physics.
It's a hard thing to think about, you know, because you're watching all of your line melt away. So in your mind, the last thing that you're thinking of is like, well, I need to decrease my lever. Like I need to get closer to free spool. Like it's hard to wrap your mind around that, but Brian nailed it. Your drag pressure is increasing. So you're going to, you know, as that spool gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, you need to back the lever off. You know, the thought is, well, I need to push it forward to slow him down to stop him, or I'm going to get spooled. But
it's the opposite.
Then the
It's the
scenarios
opposite.
that happen just as the DJ was saying.
It really would kill Loomis. When we would lose a fish, and the fish, because you never had a chance to even fight it.
Right.
So back your drag off.
So
when the fish is taking line.
So what if you're fishing 100-pound though?
Still back.
Back.
Yeah,
because your drag should be set right
for
to be fishing
100
pound at the beginning, and if he's now taking 400 yards of line off, now the drag that was set right is now way heavier than it should be for 100 pounds.
Yeah, you got to back it off.
Yeah. Okay, good advice.
But it's not easy, you know.
Yeah.
We watch that. It's real easy to say when it's a calm and it's three buds sitting around a table, but when you hook that big one and you're watching all of your line just melt away, and it doesn't seem like he's going to stop. And
it's a lot easier now with Spectra.
I'm sure,
because it was very, the straight mono days. We were throwing them over full speed on backups.
Now, what are the other things you can do to help slow a fish down? Like, you've seen it in your career a million times. Like, what do you do with a rod and reel?
Yeah, bend the rod to its full maximum.
Stick the thing straight up in the air.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you're religious,
get a few words out.
Yeah, go through the motions. Yeah.
I love it. That's cool. I had another fun text from John. It says, what a great show today, guys. It's always my favorite to hear Captain Brian. Brian, what do you think the biggest innovations that have affected our SoCal tuna and yellowtail fishing for our San Diego fleet? Is it fluorocarbon or 2-speeds or better rods or better fish finding electronics? What do you think has made the biggest difference in your career?
All of the above, but I think the old adage of back in the good old days, when you're talking about tuna fishing and other pelagics, the good old days are today. With all the information, 50-meter charts from ocean imaging, terrafin charts, communications, with the Starlink, and just it's the good old days are today.
Cool.
Fishing tuna and yellowtail, plus all the gear innovations. It's a combination of it all. This right now is the best time.
That's cool.
So you were just talking about new charts, those water charts. What do those show you?
A lot of the information that the majority of the boats use now are these 50-meter charts, because that's where the bluefin live.
They're living.
And so it actually tells you the temperature at 50 meters.
And the beauty on these for us, it's their infrared. So like with Terrafin and Jeff's gig that he has is a valuable tool. We all use them daily, but if it's cloudy, you're kind of out of luck. Whereas that 50-meter chart, it sees through the clouds and tells you the temp at depth. So there's a lot of times when the sea surface temperature in the springtime's 60 degrees, we're fishing 57 degrees at 50 meters. And this time of year, the water temp the other day for us was 70 degrees. I guarantee it that 50-meter water was still 57, where they're living. So, it's all the tools available. These young kids driving the boats are excellent. With the optics from Baker Marine, it's just everyone's got not one set of stabies, but 3 or 4, and just.
Do you use the Fujinons?
We like the Fujinons, yeah. And so
Baker is the best place.
Oh, it's the place.
Only
place. And it's just the good old days are today.
You mentioned communication too. Like I think back again, but before my time, but I remember being in a landing and hearing, Frank call on
sideband,
exactly. And scratchy, the boat's got to be pointed the right direction, all those things. And now your cell phone works, now you could live stream the Padres game, on the ridge, whatever it is. It's just crazy to think how far communication has come. The secrecies of the 4 colleagues you worked with and radios that Rick had to tweak up and tune up so that, only these 4 people that had this scrambled channel could hear it. And now you can text your buddy on the same cell phone that you call with when you're on the beach.
It's good and bad.
I'm sure.
It's good and bad, especially for those guys fishing sea bass and stuff. There's nothing secretive anymore.
Yeah. But the other thing too is if you're a businessman and you want to go on an 8-day trip,
absolutely,
you can stay in communication.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Whereas before you stepped on that boat, you were done for till you hit the dock.
Yeah, serving dinner now. It's like look it on YouTube and Facebook. It's like look where our phones are right now, and it's amazing. We're 500 miles from home, and everyone's phone's on the dinner table.
Yeah, people are listening and watching Let's Talk Hookup on the boat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Another great text there, and a lot of great texts. I want to thank everybody for texting the show. Of course, only on the Let's Talk Hookup app. Good morning, Brian, Pete, and Rick. The warmest feeling I've ever gotten on the boat was from the American Angler crew, and the feeling of family filtered down to the passengers. When I'm fishing on the boat led by Taro or Cameron, I get the same feeling. What a great job Brian has done mentoring, not just as a captain, but also as a human being. My question for Brian, when he sees his former crew members running their own operation, does he feel like a proud papa? And that's from Mike in San Diego.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Last week I got a text from one of my kids that he just got accepted to San Diego City Fire. And it's just it's all of it. I'm totally proud. I'm not going to say that everyone is a success story, because we lose them to society quite a bit. But it's working on the boat and being around these kids and watching them grow into adults, and it's got to be the most rewarding thing. And it probably comes from watching Frank and being under Frank's tutelage all these years.
Yeah, because he did the same.
He did exactly the same.
Yeah.
Fleet wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah. So Cameron, Mission Bell Cameron, of course, he's worked for you and worked in the fleet and commercial fish side by side with you and such like that. What an amazing human he is.
Oh, he's a good kid. It's one of those things that everybody has their own attributes. Everybody has. I've had some fantastic fishermen, rod and reelers, great eyes. I've had great engineers that could take apart and fix anything. And so everyone has their standout things. And Cameron's was his ability to pay attention and learn and watch. And he has great communication skills, and he picks up on things extremely well, and he uses his charming personality and to find out how to do things and how things work, and whether FishDope or whatever. That's his strong point, and he's probably the best that I've seen at it.
Yeah, he's good, and since he's jumped aboard the Mission Bell, it's been a tough spring for him, early summer, but he's making the best of it.
It's been a tough start for the guys at the islands. Last year everyone talks about the fantastic yellowtail fishing. It's kind of got spoiled.
Yeah,
no kind of about it. That's exactly what it is.
Because it was so good last year.
Yeah, it was so
and
good.
What's going on at the islands? Just not the right conditions?
The water's cooler, I would say, this year.
Yeah.
Just it's going to happen. It'll happen. That fish will move in.
It bums me out a little bit seeing it, because the fishing at the Coronado Islands is so much fun right now. It's just not 100 yellowtail to go with it. But I mean, you look at when the San Diego is at the islands, or the Liberty's at the islands, or Cameron's there, it's limit of whitefish, really good calico bass fishing, handful of barracuda, and 2 yellowtail. I mean, that's a full day of catching fish, full sacks, good harvest to bring home, lots of fun. There just doesn't happen to also be 50 yellowtail to go with it. And then it's a full struggle to get enough people to go the next day. And it just bums me out a little, because I know how fun that day of fishing is. But you're right. I mean, we all, myself included, we're all spoiled.
That 2-week period where they had live squid, and they would go down there. It's probably some of the best fishing. Anchoring up on some 10-fathom rock, or lady with the rent rod. The guys are pinning the squid. It gets 20 feet out of sight, and she's putting it in gear, winding in a 3 or 4 pound whitefish, or a 3-pound calico bass.
Totally.
It's just it's awesome. The ultimate in fishing.
Totally it is.
We lose perspective quite a bit, but that's the roots of it.
The problem is you guys have gotten so damn good at having 100 fish yellowtail days and limits of bluefin that it feels like it's part of it. And I'm with you. I mean, that day at the Coronado Islands in the sunshine with your bud, like, that's it. Like, it gets no better than that.
Oh yeah. And then you're 12 miles from home.
Yeah.
That's even better, right?
That's not bad either.
Yeah,
totally.
That's not bad. You have a good one?
I thought so. Yeah. Hey guys, I got a big question for Brian, and it's about nighttime bluefin fishing. We've seen a lot of ups and downs this season with weather and wind, and I was wondering if you could talk about how weather affects the bite when it comes to daytime or nighttime. Is it just a comfort thing, or do those fish not like to bite in different conditions?
It's just tough to put it all together. When it's windy, the boat's drifting fast, it's noisy, the boat's going upwind. Those fish sense it. There's a lot of times daytime bluefin fishing where you'll see them breezing and pushing up top, and you have your sonar set at 5 degrees and you see them up high, but by the time you run over them, they're diving down 40, 50, 60 fathoms. So it just makes it tougher. And when you talk about nighttime bluefin fishing, we look like, oh boy, it's going to be grease calm, no wind. sometimes that's not a good thing either, because it's just you've never seen tangles until you fish on a boat when there's no wind. So the ultimate would be 8 to 12 knots.
Little wind is good.
Oh yeah, so everyone's on the same side of the boat.
Got it. Yeah, that's key. All right. Hey, this portion of the show is sponsored by Gamakatsu. If you're like to fish for tuna and you're not using Gamakatsu hooks, you're missing bites. Their 720 heavy duty assist hook is one for you for your nighttime fish jigging. And also bait fishing, nothing beats the Nautilus Circle Hook. They come in sizes as small as a number 4 all the way up to a 6.0. And for big fish, the Nautilus HG is tough enough, but not oversized. See your local dealer or check gamakatsu.com. All
right on. I had a fun text I wanted to read real quick, and it just says, great show. And he said, Ricky, you told the truth about Kingfisher charters. Just got back. Limits of cohos, limits of everything every day. Great boats, great staff, great place. Thanks for the tips. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
And the cohos came in early this year.
Big time.
Yeah.
It was starting to sprinkle even on our trip in June.
Wow.
We didn't see any on our boat, but a couple of guys starting to sprinkle in. And
Nice.
How about limits of fishing already, in the beginning of July? That's pretty awesome.
And then as of July 1st, you can keep a yellow eye.
Hey,
how about that, huh?
Man,
that's huge. Finally, right?
That's a fun one.
Yeah, you actually get to keep one instead of watching them float away dead, right? It's really cool. I have a great text here, and it's from Craig and Marina. I guess that's up in Northern California, I'm guessing. Good morning, guys. I'm enjoying your show with Captain Brian of the American Angler. Love fishing his boat. What a great operation. I'm lucky enough to fish 4 to 6 times a year down in San Diego, but next year I'm looking for quality, not quantity. If you had to book a 2 or 3 day trip, what time of year would you suggest? Loving your crew too.
Yeah, that's a tough one if you're looking for, because there's several times during the springtime where we were catching a lot of 100, 150, 180 pounders. So the whole quality thing, it's kind of tough question to answer.
Are you going to get more quality in the spring, summer, fall? You can't tell.
Yeah, you can't
predict.
Yeah.
The other thing that goes back to the Coronado Island thing is talking about quality over quantity. Like, we don't have non-quality bluefin these days. You know what I mean? Like, you hate to say it, but like we're in this spot where you're calling a 50 to 70 pounder not the quality size one because it's not a 160. You know, I mean, we don't have to go back very far. The 70-pound bluefin was the cover of Western Outdoor News and the biggest deal, total trophy. And it still is for sure. But by the measure of how successful things have gotten, we've just gotten to this crazy place where all of a sudden that's not the big one anymore. Well, I had another fun text that I wanted to read. It says, good morning, guys. Brian, with all the years on the water, do you have a personal bucket list fish or destination that the most excites you in our waters? I'm super curious. That's from Jeff in Huntington Beach.
I miss fishing the Rivias, which we probably won't. It's obviously they've been off limits for a long time. Those Rivias were special. I'm glad I lived during that time frame. It was a special time and a special place, and the pioneers, Bill Poole and Frank, and opening that whole fishery up and getting to be a part of that as a young man, that was by far the most exotic, the best, and
just before
adventurous.
Just before we had Dallas and I got lucky enough to have our boys, long range fishing was my single most favorite thing to get to do. And that's the one thing that I'm so, whatever you call it, jealous of, bummed of, to get to do it so much, but not in the era where all things were on the table. And I would love to have been in that era where you fished one island or a different one, or, hey, this guy was at San Benedicto and he had great fishing and we're going to make a move, or we were at this island, the conditions weren't great, so we made a one-day move to that island, and man, that would be something I'd really like to get to see. And I know what you're saying. I hope that one day it's a thing that we get to see again.
God, if we had the tackle that we do now,
I'll bet.
Just
I'll bet.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Tommy P is on the line. What do you want, Tommy?
Morning, guys. First off, Pete, I got to thank you and Ricky for letting me host, or the privilege of hosting a great group of guys on the first of 2 trips down to Cedros Island, where I think is some of the best calico and yellowtail fishing in anywhere ever. Wayne pretty much touched on the highlights of the species, but the big halibut was 39 pounds. There was the yellowtail. The big yellowtail was 41 pounds. And all the other species of fish that were caught. We got into a bite from St. Augustine up to Punta Colorado in the Boiler Rocks, in the kelp. That was absolutely insane. Wayne, Bucky, and I were on them. Just incredible. The bait for me, and many thanks to Corey for his 8-inch Viejos on a 1-ounce weedless lead head, was deadly. I mean,
big Viejo, huh? Yeah.
The big one, Pete. It was nuts. It was sick. They were. I mean, all four of us, including the Pungadera captain, was throwing right into the foam, and then they started the kelp that was beside the boiling or the rocks. They just started boiling. I mean, it was sick, and I mean, I was like a kid in a candy factory. But I mean, and I was lucky. I was lucky to get a 717. So
wow,
I mean,
nice
just,
fish,
yeah.
Tommy. Congratulations.
I mean, and thank you. And the fish that we were catching on that hour-and-a-half spree there was like 3 to 5 pounds. These were no small fish. I mean, it was crazy. That's but so many things. And also, I got to throw out a shout to the crew and the staff down there at Cedros Sport Fishing. Oscar, that runs the front of the house, fabulous job. Flo in the kitchen. The last day, of course, the ribeye steak with a nice piece of lobster, absolutely incredible. And then Edwin Superstar at the fish cutter there, you know, where they process your fish, they cut it, they freeze it, they pack it up for you, you know, ready to come home with you was just fabulous. But just what a trip. And every single year when I get the privilege of doing that, I say the same thing. And it's true. It's just such a fun time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's the highlight.
And
of
the
it.
flight down, the way Rosie and her crew put that all together, it's just a seamless deal. But glad you're a host with the most, Tommy, and glad your trip was so great. We have another Let's Talk Hookup trip going to be hosted by Bill Varney coming in the beginning of August. But I might mention, speaking of calicos, if you love calico bass fishing, and this was Ricky's suggestion, at the end of this month, last Saturday of the month, I think it's the 28th of July, Rick and Corey are going to host the one and only sports barber here in the studio, Alex Renza Paris, who's the calico master, man. And so it's going to be Corey, Rick, and Alex for a Saturday show. And that was your suggestion. I texted Alex. I said, "You want to do it?" He goes, "Yeah, let's do it."
Uncle Al is a fantastic local bass fisherman that knows every stone in Dana Point, and a guy that has no affiliations, is just going to tell it like it is, and a great calico bass guy.
So you'll want to tune into that show, Tommy P.
Thanks again, guys. Right. Have a great show.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate that very much.
Hey, I want to remind you, this portion of the show is sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your processing orders for your long-range trips. With more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity, the finest in customer service. You can stop by their location in Old Town on Taylor Street or check fishermansprocessing.com and be sure you make your reservation today. When we come back, we got more of these great texts. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup with Captain Brian from the American Angler on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook, and YouTube Live.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels with the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities. Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting vanwarmerresorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
Hey anglers, AFCO Pro Captain Ben Florentino of Coastal Charters here. As a full-time guide, I'm on the water all year long. It's my livelihood. Having the right clothing is of the utmost importance, staying warm, dry, cool, and comfortable to endure whatever the Pacific wants to throw at me. Thankfully, I'm equipped with AFCO clothing to keep me dialed season after season. Do yourself a favor and check out AFCO's award-winning gear at a dealer near you, or learn more at AFCO.com.
Time to talk about great gear from Shimano. You just heard Tommy and Wayne talking about a trip to Cedros. If you're going calico bass fishing, you got to have Tranks in your quiver.
That Tranks reel is amazing for whatever you're doing, for fishing on the dock or the lake with a Tranks, a Tranks 200.
150.
Yeah, all the way up to catching a 100-plus pound bluefin on a foamer with a Tranks 500. It's so rare that a line of reels covers anything you want to do. If you're casting a lure, there is no more user-friendly reel than that Tranks.
Yeah, and they come in variety of sizes. You can fish a 400, 500, or like the 300, 200, 150. They're all applicable for different scenarios. So check it out. The Tranks reel at your local Shimano dealer.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast Series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG Series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at fine tackle dealers.
Seasoned long-range fishermen know that the Red Rooster 3 is the finest fishing vessels in terms of technology, design, speed, comfort, and safety. This 105-foot sport fishing yacht meets every demand for comfort while delivering an unforgettable fishing vacation. Captain Andy Cates and crew are experienced, friendly, and sincere in their desire to help you have the trip of a lifetime. Book a trip on the Red Rooster 3, and you'll be back. Trips fill fast, so check redrooster3.com or call Lee Palm Sport Fisheries at 619-224-3857.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing with Captain Brian Kiyohara. What a great show this has been, man. How much fun.
Yeah, super fun. You talk about fun, place to go is the East Cape, Los Barriles. So we got our good buddy, Captain Chris Moyer from Smokey's Curing Company and Cantina with the Baja Report. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Pedro, Rick, Captain Brian, buenos dias. How we doing today, guys?
Excelente, amigo. What's going on down there?
Oh, man, we had a rough week here, guys. We had a rough week. We've been having such a good time down here, but we had that spinner out there that was kind of messing with the weather and heading right towards us, but veered off at the last minute and petered out. But we lost a couple days where the port was closed, and then we had some other guys that just didn't want to go out there. That and it wasn't the seas were too high, so it was kind of a rough week. But I'll tell you again, just like you got to find the silver lining, guys. So this just like last week, man. If you want to go inshore right there at Punta Arena, between Punta Arena and Cabo Pumo, there, the little bay, and catch the big old 40, 50, 60 pound rooster fish. There was plenty of that to be had, and then again, still plenty of marlin biting out there, some tuna, but again, we couldn't get to them hardly this week due to the weather. But there are some coming in. It's looking like we're clearing up now. It looks like a beautiful day. The winds died down, and it looks like we're going to try to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah. So, every week is different in the ocean, right? And all depends on weather and what's going on, right?
It's true, yeah, and it's a little bit early for us to be having to deal with tropical storms and
yeah, it is.
But
what's that all about?
Yeah, it is what. Yeah, and it's
have you been
have
you been a good boy and the tropical storms are not staying away, or what?
I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of tropical storm activity at Smokies at night, but I hope I don't have anything to do with it.
It's a downright Chabasco there at night, There's no doubt about that.
I've been doing my best to stay out of the briar patch, guys. So anyhow, but anyway, so yeah, that's about it. But like I said, we're looking to get back in the fishing. Like, it hasn't just been wide open like it has, but there's still a lot to do, and there's still plenty of fish to be caught. You just got to change the game plan sometimes. But like I said, it looks like we're going to be getting back into some tuna fishing and hopefully see that Dorado bite. That Dorado bite's got to pick up big time in the next couple of weeks.
For sure, for the Dorado shootout that you're going to win.
I hope so, man. We're going to go give it a run.
Aboard Vaquera, of course. Vaquera, the best boat in the East Cape. You want a great, fantastic six-pack, 35 Cabo, Seakeeper, the whole deal, Vaquera. And, of course, best place to eat and have cocktails and watch the sports, Smokies.
Pete, you missed it last week. They were having an unbelievable promotion. It was free cerveza mañana. Yeah. You just missed it. So hopefully that's still going on.
Let me tell you something. Oh God, it's been a huge success. Only problem is we've got quite a bit of overzealous clients that keep showing up a day early for that.
Sure. It's not today. It's tomorrow.
I'm like, well, you guys are here. You might as well have a cold pop. But again, you're going to come back mañana. It's free beer mañana. So just other than that, it's been a huge success.
Well, great. Well, how do we get a hold of you? We want to book Vaquera, come to Smokies, or get some of that great fish processing you have there.
Get a hold of me at Baja Smoke Dog, 2Gs at Gmail, 858-231-1358. VaqueraSportFishing.com. That's VAQUERA sportfishing.com. And it's only going to be better from here, guys. We're going to have a good week here coming up. So we'll hope to see you guys. A lot of boats fishing today. You guys have been itching. Vaquera's out. So we're looking forward to a good day on the docks.
All right. Very good, Chris. Good job. And we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Take care, guys.
All right. Appreciate that.
All right, that's awesome.
He's always got the line.
He's fun, man.
Yeah.
I like Chris an awful lot.
Awesome
big energy and a lot of fun. That's cool. And Smokey's such a great spot down there too. That's fun. Hey, I had a great text come through. It said, first off, man, we are so grateful to have caught limits of bluefin on the Tribute on Tuesday and Wednesday night. What an awesome trip. My question for Captain Brian is, I'm hearing the little bits about yellowfin coming into our zone. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about it. How far south are they? What's the average size? And what can an angler do to get in on good yellowfin tuna fishing? That's from Cliff in Blossom Valley.
So Cliff, they're just starting to show up, and the ones that I see, and from the other captains, we have not caught one yet, but it's basically in the same grounds where you were with Ian on the Tribute, and they're just sprinkled in. They're nice 40 to 60 pound fish, and as far as trying to catch one of those versus a bluefin, if you're catching one or the other, you're doing the right thing. There's just no way to target a yellowfin per se when it's mixed. And as far as if there's more coming, I wish I could answer that, but like I said, the more years that I've done this, the less we know. The old adage, they're coming up the line. There's been a lot of times where they come from the southwest and the west too. So.
That's cool.
Just hope they come.
I do, man. That's what I really hope. That fishing looked like so much fun that you guys had with all. Yeah, I just hope that happens. Yeah. That's such a fun fish. It's fun. They bite the troll and they bite the lures and they bite the bait and they pull hard and they taste good. That's a crowd pleaser.
It is.
Yeah. I have another great text here from Andrew in Monterey. A lot of listeners in Northern California these days. That's it's really cool to see. You have a lot of passengers too.
Yes.
From Northern California. He says, I would like to splice a short piece of hollow braid to the solid braid on my reel so I can insert a monofilament top shot. I've tied knots before, but sometimes the knot won't catch on and cause a backlash. Do you recommend splicing, and how would you splice braided lines?
I mean, that's one of those things that you have to weigh the pros and cons to each. It is very much doable. You can do it just like this, the same style of connection that you insert, a piece of monofilament into the hollow spectra. The solid spectra does work the same way, where you're taking the line in, and you can either, if it's, a little skinny, you can double a piece of your spectra and pull it into the hollow and serve it the same way that you would serve a piece of mono. But again, with that, as always, you're just introducing more connections and more potential issue to happen. To keep it more foolproof, you just tie a very appropriate mono to solid spectra connection knot. But as he perfectly stated, the downside to that is you have the knot to deal with. So neither of them are right or wrong. There's not a blanket saying like, oh, you don't do it for this or that reason. You just have to weigh those two pros and cons. It gives you a very nice, diameter smooth connection, but you're just introducing another opportunity for that line to sneak itself out. And if you would, I would just pull a little bit extra in there. Just treat it the same way we treat like a knot when you're tying it in fluorocarbon. It's a little bit slick, so I do a few more wraps. When we're pushing mono inside of a piece of hollow fluoro, we tend to go up, 2 or 3 feet. Maybe just go a little bit extra. Maybe go 4 or 5 feet with your spectra if you're pulling it into the hollow, and then cinch it down with the same style of serve that you would when you're making a wind on or something like that.
Yeah. I have a question for Captain Brian. So I'm going on a 2-day trip with you in a couple days. What do I bring?
30 to 100 pound.
Everything in between.
Yeah, 30, 50, 60, 100 pound.
All right. And what about jigs? What kind of jigs am I fishing?
Daytime, those little Colt snipers, all the way to
what size Colt sniper?
Those 100 grams.
Yeah, 100, 120.
And as far as nighttime, although you got to bring some 350s in case it's windy, so you get down there.
I have maybe a tackle question when it comes to it too, and you've got to see a lot of it, and it's increasing. It seems like a lot more. The use of the jigging style rods, smaller rod, single speed, high torque reels. Are those for the guys that have learned and used that technique? Is that for everybody? Do you still prefer to, see your guys at nighttime fishing, with their traditional 100-pound rail rod? Like, you've seen the best of both of them. What's your opinion on like the jigging outfit versus the 2-speed rail rod outfit?
Our crew is 100% swapped over to the small jigging outfit.
Okay.
100%. Mm-hmm. And, our cooks are fantastic fishermen. I mean,
when you're talking about like the high power jigging reel.
The small jig, the short jigging rods, and the high power jigging reels. The only downfall I see is if they're bigger than 120 pounds. Once you start getting into the 150s, 180s, and of course, you start hooking cows on it, they're tough to land. Mm-hmm. They're tough to animal. Yeah, they're tough to keep out from underneath the boat. That's why I think that a lot of our jigging charters, I wish that they had at least one rail rod in the mix too. Because if we do get in that bigger grade fish,
just when that fish shows up,
and we have everyone with short jigging rods, and we start hooking, it's a disaster.
So now you say, why with that under 100-pound fishes, why is a jigging rod such a great deal?
They get bites.
They work so good too.
They get bites. They get bites, and they're not hard to wind in either. Being that they're not a 2-speed reel, it's amazing the torque that they have.
And you're not using the rod for leverage either. You just
a lot of times you're not, but it
defies what you would. It defies conventional thinking that a rod that doesn't look all that stiff and it's pretty skinny and it's kind of parabolic, and a single speed reel, but it's really torquey and it's got a big long handle. Like you don't look at it and think that it's going to be a thing. And just over and over and over, 60-pounder, 80-pounder guy hooks it and kind of winds it right to the boat.
Like that Osea jigger? Is that
perfect one? Osea jigger 4000, all of those style reels, high torque, lots of power, big long handle. It probably has something to do with them being caught at nighttime. Like I don't know, but man, everybody that buys one kind of tends to do the same thing. I can't believe it. I can't believe how easy it was.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been this way. It was easier than it was with my rail rod,
But what if you hook a 150-pounder?
It's
tough.
Hand it off.
Yeah, you better hope Captain Ray standing next to you is what you better hope.
Yeah.
I have a good one here from Mike and Rosemead. He says, seems that we talked about this already. Wind and rough seas go hand in hand with nighttime tuna fishing. Let's hope not. How many times do you see absolutely dead calm, flat conditions, and will they bite when the boat's not moving?
Yeah, they bite, but it's
a nightmare.
It's
We
a
talked
nightmare.
about that earlier.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Because of tangles?
Yeah, you got people fishing 360 degrees all the way around the boat. And it's always it's
How often do you see that though?
It's fairly common. I mean, especially now that everyone has the Windy app on their phone and stuff. It's everyone could watch it daily.
That's funny. I liked this text, and it just said, I got a great tip from you guys a few weeks back about not putting hooks on both the top and the bottom of my jig when knife jigging. However, I did not listen, and my jig was rigged with a hook at the top and the bottom. And exactly what you mentioned happened. I hooked the fish in the mouth and then also foul hooked him in the side. My 60-pound fish took almost an hour and a half to land, and I was that guy on the boat. Don't fish with hooks on the top and the bottom. That was from Tom.
They are not aerodynamically sound that way. Yeah.
So you want it either on the top or on the bottom.
Yes, not both.
And which way do you prefer?
Either.
It doesn't matter.
Either, yeah.
What do you prefer?
I think the same. I mean, we grew up in Southern California, and we all grew up fishing with 6X juniors and 7Xs. So to me, it just looks right for the hooks hanging on the bottom. I know that it doesn't matter, and I know that it should be either the top or the bottom, but I grew up fishing a 7X, man. So for me, I like to tie my line to the top, and I like my hooks hanging off of the bottom.
Hanging off of the bottom. Okay.
I don't want to keep saying it, and I don't want to sound like I'm the broken record trying to force people to buy tungsten like the tackle store guys. But that's the other thing that I like about those tungsten jigs is you can fish something at night that's just as heavy as a more traditional knife jig, but because it's the size of a Colt sniper, when they eat it, there is no question. The whole thing goes back, and a lot of times those things get hooked like all the way down in the gill rakers, and a lot of times when the hooks wind up down there, same thing. Those things just you wind them right in. Yeah, it never comes off. They don't shake. Like I like it just because the bites tend to be, you get them all. You know, like when they flare their gill plates and move a 5-gallon bucket's worth of water, and that little tungsten jig gets in the back of the throat.
It's way back there. Yeah. You know that fish processing. You have a Fisherman's Processing T-shirt on with the Padre logo and stuff like that. Such a cool. We get so spoiled with fish processing, and people like Fisherman's Processing and what they do.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes such a different product.
It's the way to do it. I had a fish process, you know, when I got off the boat the other day for the ladies of the bank here on the corner. And it's one of those things. It's like, it's the way to do it.
Yeah,
it's easy to pass out,
and the quality of
share
the finished product.
Oh, it's
night and day.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example. I didn't have time to fillet. We went rock fishing a few weeks ago. Didn't have time to fillet the fish on the way back. So I said, okay, I'll just give them the Fisherman's Processing in the morning. And the quality of that rockfish, and I've filleted a lot of fish, the quality of that they produce in just a simple red, it's so much better than what you can do yourself because they're professionals. That's what they do every day.
I've got a bad habit of, you know, we go to the freezer and we're going to make a meal for the family, and you're like you look between a Fisherman's Processing, like you saying, vac packed killer, your red fillets are all beautiful, versus me and Neil did it on the way home and it's in a Ziploc, and we took as good of care of it as you could take it. There still is no difference. Like us doing the best job we can is not the same level as professionals doing it the way professionals can. And you look at those two things in the freezer, what you're going to make for the family. There's no doubt on what you're grabbing. I mean, it's the best.
Two things to be very grateful here in San Diego. Well, three things. The San Diego Sport Fishing Fleet, Everingham Brothers Bait Company, and Fisherman's Processing. I mean, it's like all that combo, right? So amazing. And that kind of brings me into this text that received here from, let me bring it up here, from Jim D in Morro Bay, and he says, "I'm going on a 3-day Alaska trip next week. They offer fish processing and ready to go checked in boxes. This is the best option, or should I bring a 48-quart cooler with me? Any suggestions?" We just answered that. Let the professionals do it, because I can tell you, when we go to Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, nobody processes fish better than Kingfisher. Like you just came back. The quality of the fish you brought back?
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, and they've just learned every trick along the trade too. They have very high-end equipment. It's like fisherman's processing. So freezer makes a big deal. You know, your fish is brought down to below 0 degrees. So when it ships, I mean, you're shipping a rock block, you know, frozen fish. The other reason I wouldn't bring your cooler is you're paying for the weight of the cooler also, you know, and that's
versus those boxes, those insulated boxes are just fine.
Yeah. The insulated box weighs probably less than a pound and your cooler probably weighs 5 pounds. Or if it's a Yeti, it might weigh 10 or 15 pounds. And that's just all taking away from that 50-pound weight that you're getting to bring home.
And you have a lot of passengers coming from out of state and they can ship their fish and they'll ship it right to them, right? You have a lot of them do that?
Ship them all over the country.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really cool. All right.
Well, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including finding out who's got themselves a brand new Acosta sunglasses. You stay tuned. More Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook, and YouTube Live.
Hi, this is Christy Wheeler with Dawson & Associates Insurance, your full-service agency specializing in boat insurance, including charter, commercial, and personal use boats, business insurance, and travel insurance. We work hard to get you the most coverage for the best prices and guarantee the lowest rates available on all the travel plans we offer. So give us a call today at Dawson & Associates Insurance at 619-460-5615 for a free quote today.
The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Our hardworking crew will make your fishing experience one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. Fisherman's Landing is a full-service sport fishing operation offering great half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day trips on the spacious and comfortable 85-foot Liberty. With bunks for your comfort, a huge bait capacity, and RSW fish holds to keep your catch fresh. Fisherman's Landing also boasts the best captains and crews in the business, from seasoned veterans to our young future legends. All our open party trips from half-day, full, or 1 to 3 day trips can be easily booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call at 619-221-8500. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
When you're offshore fishing, the right gear makes all the difference, and that includes Fujinon stabilized binoculars from Baker Marine. Baker Marine has been selling binoculars for decades, and more importantly, they service all brands right at their San Diego Shelter Island location. Need the best? The Fujinon Staboscope is the professional's choice. Looking for top-tier stabilization at a great price? The Fujinon TechnoStabi TSX 1440 delivers rock-steady vision even in rough waters. Perfect for serious anglers. Baker Marine is the largest Fujinon retailer on the West Coast, and when you buy from them, they will be there when your binoculars need service. Plus, they'll give you a great price on all their in-stock Fujinon binoculars. Stop by their store on Shelter Island in San Diego and test a pair of Fujinon binoculars and see which one is right for you. The fishing season is here, and you know you need a pair of stabilized binoculars. So get them from the experts at Baker Marine. Learn more at bakermarine.com.
Hello, this is Captain Mike Totter from Cedros Sport Fishing. Alongside my colleague, Chef Josh Evans, and our dedicated team, we invite you to join us aboard the Searcher. Our fishing trips range from 1.5 to 8 days, available May through November, and include charter options. We're committed to upholding a legacy of top-notch customer service, delicious food, and a friendly and talented crew. Book your fishing adventure online at searchersportfishing.com or call Rachel at 619-226-2403. That's searchersportfishing.com. We look forward to welcoming you aboard.
It's employee pricing, and it's happening now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. That's right, employee pricing across a full lineup for trucks and SUVs. A lineup featuring California's #1 truck brand and Ford F-Series, America's all-time best-selling SUV and Ford Explorer, the iconic Ford Bronco, and more. No automaker employs more hourly workers or assembles more vehicles here in America than Ford Motor Company. And that's a commitment your San Diego County Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing to you. It's only for a limited time. Exclusions apply. Hurry to your local San Diego County Ford dealer today.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Okay, it's time to find out who's got themselves a brand new pair of Costas. Brian's going to do us the honor and flip our prize coin real quick. See who we got today. Today we have a texter winning. Congratulations, Dan, who was texting from Colorado.
Nice. Colorado. Brand new pair of Costas. Beautiful fantail Costas with the glass 580 lens, the best.
Yeah, congrats, Dan.
Everybody goes, why do you go with the glass lens? Because you can wipe them with your t-shirt.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
don't scratch, right? That's a key. It's a fisherman's pair.
No doubt, man.
Right? That's what you want for sure. Brian, such a great job.
Oh,
You,
it's a pleasure.
Lori, Ray, and your whole team there at the American Anglers, so fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks, buddy.
Thank
This
you
is cool.
for filling in for Cameron
Appreciate
too
it.
at the last
Anytime.
minute, and we appreciate you. And if somebody wants to book a trip, if you see sold out, don't worry, right?
I would still contact Lori.
Yeah.
Still email her, or talk to
Just
her on the
email
phone.
or
Yeah,
call her.
and she'll get you on that standby list.
Yeah,
because it's
she does work miracles.
She
right?
is, man.
absolutely
And the best.
So what's the number? What's the website?
223-5414, 619 area code, and AmericanAnglerSportFishing.com.
Yeah, and what do you have? You're going back on the boat here soon.
I go on the boat tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, Matt's house is 5-day.
A 5-day.
5-day.
Yeah. Oh, that should be a great trip.
Think there'll be some surface iron slingers on a Matt
Yeah, I
Salas
think
5-day
so.
trip.
Yeah, I
I
think
can't
so.
wait to hear about
That
some
should be fun. And-
cool
and-
yellowtail fishing down the beach somewhere.
Oh,
Somewhere, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that's going to be. And probably some bluefin on the boat.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and hopefully good weather for you. And we're headed into the prime season here. So if you can get on a boat, jump on it, because we're July, August, September. This is the
Summertime.
time.
This is
Yeah,
fun,
this
man.
is when you want to be there for sure. Hey, want to thank you all for everything. Thanks for Adam for all he does on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And of course, thanks to Jeff for doing what he does in the Fan. We'll be back tomorrow morning on the Fan, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 97.3, and of course the Let's Talk Hookup app and 97.3 Fan. Ron Lane, Fast Lane Kayaks in Mission Bay. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9. We'll see you then, right back here